That leaves CONCACAF Nations League, League A Group D like this. The United States, your group winners, and they will advance to the Final Four in Las Vegas later this summer. All right, Herc, we'll get to the individuals a little bit later. But overall, what do you think of the U.S. performance tonight against El Salvador?
They won. That's about the biggest positive of the night for the U.S. men's national team. And Ricardo Pepi with another goal. You get a player like him going. Listen, he's a very young player. I believe now it's only Christian Pulisic and Josie Altidore to get to 6 goals. That age, he's doing very good things. But as a whole, when you're talking about the U.S. men's national team, the first half, lackluster, disappointing, reactive, sloppy, toothless up front, all these different things you can say. The set pieces, again, are a factor. Players of this caliber, Christian Pulisic, who plays in one of the best leagues in the world, who dons the 10 shirt for Chelsea, just abysmal on set pieces, no direction, almost a lack of motivation. This was all the first half. Second half, finally they picked it up, dug themselves out of this hole. It was Giovanni Reyna being selfish in the final third, who kind of got the U.S. men's national team going. And then the subs made an impact. We'll get into that, but not a lot of positives to really get out of this besides the U.S. men's national team won, and Ricardo Pepi got himself on the score sheet again. Yeah, you look at the lineup, there were, 7 changes from the team that we saw against Grenada. Pulisic, McKinney, Reyna, and Turner were the 4 holdovers. It really did, Herc, and I know the competition we have to factor in. El Salvador is a much better team than Grenada. It did really feel like a step back from Friday. I felt like, aside from, obviously, I think there's disappointment the U.S. didn't score more, the U.S. were also vulnerable, not necessarily in terms of shots on goal and real chances for El Salvador, but there was danger, there was action for Matt Turner. What do you think was missing for the United States, and maybe how much of it you think was a guy like Tyler Adams, who we did talk about a lot? It was Tyler Adams. That's it? Yeah. You think it's so
one
much
of the biggest things.
Him? Well, yes, and we're going to talk about Anthony Hudson in a bit, but you have a lot of these pieces there who know how to play with each other, who are used to, a certain style. He's the man who protects that back line. There is no natural 6, and you had Weston McKennie playing with Eunice, with Gio in front, and it was a double pivot, and each one did what they could trying to protect that back line. But like we saw against Grenada, and you see that given the opposition, they were still able to make the U.S. men's national team feel vulnerable at times, especially in transition. There was no protection for that back line. We saw a little bit of that today. It's also good coaching, and Hugo Perez is one of the better coaches in CONCACAF. And listen, he ate Greg Berhalter's lunch when they played them. He ate Anthony Hudson's lunch tonight. He did it with USL players. He did it with a mixed bag of MLS players, some USL championship players. He's a very good coach. And if anybody thought they were going to rout El Salvador, you had another thing coming for you. This is a very well-trained team, probably doesn't have the talent to go beyond the top 4 in the region. Maybe it's top 6, and that's where they're going to have to fight. But it's a very well-worked team, and he's proven to give the U.S. men's national team fits. Doesn't matter what time of the year, who they have at their disposal. It was never going to be an easy game for the U.S. men's national team.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.